The Kiraak descended like a living shadow, covering the stars. Thousands upon thousands of ships moved as a swarm, one that knew no fear, no doubt, and no hesitation. They had swept through the outer colonies like a scythe through wheat. Vareth Prime gone in 6 hours. New Tasmania silent after 3. The crystal cities of Hellion IV reduced to ash and memory in a single night. 47 worlds had fallen in as many days. The Galactic Defense Fleet scrambled, deployed, arrived always too late. The Kiraak's strategy was horrifyingly simple: overwhelm, consume, vanish. Their ships phased in system without warning, dropped their armies like locusts, and disappeared before reinforcements could arrive. No transmissions, no demands, no negotiations, no survivors. Every civilization in the galaxy had learned the same brutal lesson: when the Kiraak came, you died. Resistance wasn't futile, it was impossible. The greatest military minds had studied their tactics, searching for weakness. They found none. The Kiraak were perfect predators, and the galaxy was their hunting ground. On a long-forgotten asteroid known only as LV-426b, the Kiraak ships appeared in low orbit like black blades slicing through space itself. Their scanners swept the surface and detected minimal resistance: a single mining settlement, about 100 heat signatures, no military presence, no orbital defenses, no escape pods, and no hope. The hive mind registered this information with something approaching satisfaction. An easy harvest, a respite between real battles. The mining facility was called Depth 9. Kiraak watched the sky turn black through the HAB module window. She was 32, geologist, 5 years into her contract, 3 years from going home. The coffee in her hand had gone cold 10 minutes ago. She couldn't stop staring. "Those are ships," she whispered. Behind her, Arden Voss, foreman, ex-Navy engineer, 63 years old and too stubborn to retire, keyed the emergency channel. His voice cut through every speaker in the facility. "All personnel to Central HAB. This is not a drill, now." His voice was granite steady, even as his hands shook. They came, abandoning tools and meals and half-written letters home. Miners with dirt still under their nails. Engineers who'd been elbow-deep in coolant systems. 107 humans total. No weapons, no soldiers, no combat training, no ships, no miracle coming. Arden pulled up the facility schematic on the main display. A labyrinth of tunnels, shafts, processing centers, and HAB modules sprawling across 3 kilometers. "Listen to me. We have maybe 20 minutes before they land. The GDF won't get here for 6 days minimum." He let that sink in, watched fear bloom in their eyes. "But we're not helpless. This facility, this planet, we know every meter of it. We know where the gas pockets are, where the weak points are, where the cold goes down to nothing. They don't." Lyra felt something ignite in her chest. Not hope. Hope was for people who had a future. This was something harder, something that burned like white phosphorus. "What do we do?" she asked. Arden's smile was wolfish. "We teach them why you don't underestimate miners." The Kiraak landed in perfect formation, 3 waves, 2,000 soldiers each, dropping from orbit in biopods that hit the frozen ground like meteors. Their mandate was simple, unchanged in 100 conquests: eliminate all resistance, harvest biomass, move to the next target. The hive mind expected completion within 2 hours. They encountered the first humans in Tunnel 7B, the main eastern access shaft. 37 miners, armed with nothing but industrial tools, welding torches, and desperation. They fought like cornered animals, savage, creative, desperate. A Kiraak warrior fell to a plasma cutter. Another to a mining charge detonated at point-blank range. But there were so many Kiraak, too many. The humans retreated deeper into the tunnel and sealed it behind them. The explosive charges were standard mining ordnance, designed to fracture rock efficiently. In the confined space of a tunnel 20 meters wide, they performed far beyond specification. The shockwave pulverized chitin and flesh, turned bodies into fragments. 400 Kiraak died in 3 seconds before the hive mind registered the concept. Trap. The cost, 37 human lives. They'd known the blast would kill them. They'd done it anyway. At Sector 9, the Kiraak found the entrances wide open, inviting, lights still on. They poured inside, mandibles clicking in anticipation. 1,500 strong, flowing through corridors like living oil. Engineer Kiraak had spent 3 years mapping the methane pockets beneath the facility, natural gas deposits that made mining dangerous but profitable. She knew exactly where they were, how much gas, how volatile. She'd opened every vent, flooded Sector 9 with enough methane to create a fuel-air bomb that would make military ordnance look primitive. She stood at the center with a flare in her hand and watched them come. She thought of Arden buying time at the reactor, of Nico, who'd never get to go home, of 107 people who'd chosen to fight instead of die quietly. For Depth 9, she whispered and lit the flare. The explosion was visible from orbit, a mushroom cloud that rose 3 kilometers high. 1,500 Kiraak, incinerated instantly. The shockwave shattered windows in the HAB modules, 500 meters away. The cost, Sector 9's entire engineering team. 17 people, including Kaid, who'd stayed behind to ensure the timing was perfect. They never felt a thing. The hive mind recalculated, 40% casualties. These humans were not behaving as expected. They did not flee, they did not surrender. They adapted, sacrificed, killed with cold precision. The Kiraak mind, for the first time in its 1,000-year history, felt something approximating uncertainty. The remaining 4,000 consolidated, moving cautiously now through the facility's lower levels, expecting traps at every turn. They found Depth 9's fusion reactor, the facility's heart, buried deep in bedrock. Destroy this, and human resistance would collapse into darkness and cold. They encountered Arden Voss in the reactor chamber, standing alone at the primary console. Around him lay the bodies of the maintenance crew who'd bought him time. Nico Rain, 19 years old, dead clutching a wrench like a sword. Ella Morales, who'd taken 3 Kiraak with her using pressurized coolant and fury. Sora Haley, who'd injected the last Kiraak with enough sedative to kill an elephant. Arden looked at the advancing swarm, 4,000 strong, mandibles clicking in unison, and thought of his daughter, safe on Earth. Of Lyra, who died buying the minutes. Of 107 people who could have hidden, could have begged, and instead chose to make the Kiraak pay for every meter. Depth 9, he said quietly to the empty air. We don't retreat. He yanked the coolant failsafe and disabled every safety protocol simultaneously. The reactor didn't explode. That was civilian mythology. What happened was worse. Without coolant, the fusion core underwent catastrophic thermal runaway. In seconds, temperatures exceeded 10 million degrees, stellar core heat contained in a magnetic bottle that was rapidly failing. The containment field collapsed. Superheated plasma expanded outward at 17% light speed, vaporizing everything within 3 kilometers instantly. 4,000 Kiraak died without time to register death. Their chitin armor, capable of stopping bullets, offered no more protection than paper against a miniature sun. The shockwave collapsed every tunnel, every shaft, every structure. Depth 9 ceased to exist. When the GDF rescue fleet arrived 6 days later, they found a crater 5 kilometers wide, still glowing with residual heat. Sensors detected no life signs, human or Kiraak. Just silence and slag. At the crater's edge, half buried in cooling rock, they found a sign. Steel scorched black but still legible. Depth 9, we don't retreat. The fleet commander stared at it. How many humans? 107 versus 6,000 Kiraak. His aide's voice shook. They killed them all, sir, every single one. News spread across the galaxy within hours. The Kiraak had been annihilated, not by fleets or superweapons, but by miners who turned their home into a weapon. The Kiraak hive ships never approached human space again. They'd learned humans don't fight like soldiers. They fight like the universe itself, and they never, ever retreat.